Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a while, and I think it's only fair that I kind of fill you in on what's been going on and what's been happening and why you haven't seen so much of me. Okay, so the first thing I suppose I should say is that the last time I was talking to you, I had 208 subscribers and was over the moon. And again, I have to say I'm blown away. 550 subscribers, and it just keeps growing. And that's on top of me not putting out any content of late. So welcome aboard, guys. 550 subscribers. That's really, mind-blowing. It's a small channel, but it's an indication that it's going to continue to grow, and that's very rewarding. Yeah, I really appreciate that kind of. I must be doing something right. So that's good. almost 14,000 views on 5 videos. So I've got to be doing something right, which gives me great encouragement. And okay, so I think that's the subscription side of things covered. Moving on to, I think it's only fair that I explain to you what's happened as regards the channel and the lack of content, because I would have imagined that I would have been further than this, a lot further than this actually, if everything had been going right. And I want to try and keep this short, but I do owe you all guys. I owe you guys an explanation as to why I haven't been uploading. Okay, so back in November, to begin with, I was using some software called DaVinci, and I love the stuff. It's a really great editing tool, and I decided to go with that. It's fairly heavy to begin with, and I was getting my head around that. I've spent lots of hours on it, and to cut to the chase, which is impossible if I start talking, to be honest. But I'm having a chat with you. You get to know me, all you new subscribers. Maybe you've watched the videos and stuff, and I'm going to have a few minutes here to explain. If you want to fast forward, I haven't sectioned it, but if you want to move forward, then that's fine, and get into the nitty gritty. But then you'll have missed the reasons why. What you're about to see, you'll have missed the reasons why. So, regarding uploading, my system was crashing. Now, initially it wasn't. Okay, so if I go back to November. Christmas was coming upon us, and DaVinci released a new suite, an editing suite, and I was using a free version, and I was having no issues, no problems at all. And I thought for Christmas and for the channel and for my own, satisfaction, and also I had been watching some releases on it on DaVinci 17 Studio. And if you guys want to go and check that out, there is a free version, really good software for editing. Now it's fairly heavy, like I said, but with time, you can really, the new version is really friendly. It's a lot friendlier than the old version. And also it was supposed to be easier, as I understood it. It was supposed to be easier on your RAM, right? Random access memory, in either a stack system or a laptop or whatever. I'm running 16 gigabytes of RAM on my laptop, and I bought this laptop specifically for this channel, etc. So that was all okay. They launched it in November, and there was a huge shortage with the pandemic and everything else. There's a huge shortage around the world of everything, right? Parts, etc., which I'll get onto, and panels, when I mean parts. So I ordered it in November. It came out and I ordered it, and of course there was like a catch up because it's a new launch, and I thought I'd have it before December. I ordered it in November, so I thought I'd have it for November, and I didn't get it until the 6th of January. This is when the problem started, basically. When all the problems started, right? Because when it came in January, because of Brexit. Now, it was launched around the world, and I think you'll know in America, you guys will know in America, it was about $300, and they'd done a speed editor with it. So you were getting 600 quid's worth of a bundle for $300. So, you know, thumbs up for DaVinci. It's an Australian company, Blackmagic, and I'm staying with it. Okay, I'm staying with it, even though we've had issues. I say, you know, me and my laptop have had issues on uploading stuff. That's the issues I've had. Hence, no content. So I got it, and it came in the 6th of November. Oh, sorry, the 6th of January. The 6th of January. But, you know, we all know in this world now that, you know, we can't get stuff like we used to, right? And this was a brand new launch, so obviously everybody and anybody who was into DaVinci would want a copy of that. And we were all on a waiting list, and shops didn't have it. And it came, and I received it on the 6th of January. Now, I paid about £330 sterling, which is 360 or 70 euros. Just for the new subscribers, I'm in Ireland, so it's euros. So 320 pounds, I think it was. So, you know, you do the maths on that. It's about 18 or 20 euros on every 100 sterling, on every 100 pounds. So add 20 for every, so we would say roughly 360 euros, 370 euros. And that was okay. I was willing, you know, I was getting a free, the other part of the bundle was 300 quid's worth anyway. So I thought, you know, I'll take the heat, and that was okay. But of course, it never arrived until the 6th of January. Now, the 1st of January, the 31st of December, the 1st of January, that was the UK departed from Europe, unfortunately, I would say. But that's the way it is. So we were dealing with Brexit, which of course none of us knew around, none of us in Europe, and none of us and the people in, you know, you guys in the UK, none of us really knew. Well, I certainly didn't know that. I was fearful because none of us knew. So anyway, I got a text, an SMS from the courier saying that I'd have to. He actually rang me up as well, and he says, like, I can't deliver it, and until you pay customs and excise duty and blah de blah. So it was another like 65, 70 euros. In total, I paid about 400 euros for DaVinci 17 Studio, which is you can get a free version as well, you know, beta. But anyway, that's okay. It all helps to get my content and what I want to do and how I want to, you know, advance the channel. So it was my Christmas present, you know. So that was that. I installed it, and like I said earlier, it's supposed to be lighter on your system. But anyway, I was having issues with it, okay? And it wasn't until last week I actually got this thing sorted, right? Now, there was a bit of bad health over Christmas as well, came into the argument or the equation, and so I had some issues over Christmas as regards. Yeah, I won't go into that, you know, it's just another thing. But basically I couldn't upload. I couldn't upload any content. I was editing, and it would crash, you know. And it wasn't as if I was loads and loads of footage or anything. It was light enough, you know. But it wouldn't upload. So that's now the final piece of this, okay? Sorry for rambling on, but these things have to be said so you understand where I'm coming from and why there was no content. Yeah, that's basically why I'm making this apology and, you know, appealing to your patience, shall we say. The third and final thing was that Brexit came along, and that was a real eye-opener. So I needed a list of the final things I needed to finish off the T3 Vera. And so I rang a company in the UK that I get stuff from, some really good quality stuff, you know. And I didn't ring them actually. What did I forget. It's, you know, it's a while ago now anyway. But it put the stoppers on it. It was like a sill, you know, for under your sliding door. A sill would normally be about £18, and you would normally pay £16 for shipping. and with that shipping you could get other bits put in. This is prior to Brexit now, in the past, but I wanted to find out how much all these bits were going to come to, and etc. And Jesus, it was 18 quid for the sill, but it was now 39.50. That's pounds, so that's £40 for shipping. So 40 and the 18 is 58, call it £60. And then when it gets to Ireland, I would again, we're back to that square again, you know, pay the customs and excise and duties and taxes. So a sill, which you guys, a lot of you guys will know what a sill is, you know, under the sliding door type of thing. The small sill, 2 inches, 50 mil. It's going to cost me like 80 quid. Double the price. So it's prohibitive to say the very least. So what I've done now is I've sourced here in Ireland. You know, we have people here in Ireland as well that sell stuff and etc. obviously. But so I've got onto some people who I'll give a big shout out to maybe in another video, and that we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, and I got a sale and I got a few other bits, and it's like, you know, it's about the same price as previously. Now, the final bit of this jigsaw is that most of the stuff comes from Europe anyway. You know, there are some places in the UK that actually manufacture, you know. As you guys in the States, you'll know, I know you'll know, because I've seen them in your videos. You know, you use the same stuff. You know, there's like Just Campbell's and AH Schofield, and, you know, the list goes on. Some quality panels. But, and we can get them here. But a lot of the stuff then would have been coming from Europe anyway, and would have been coming from Europe into the UK. But it's just that if we're getting it from the UK now, as you all know, I'm sure any of you guys that would be kind of watching the news or, you know, watching what's going on around the world, you'll know that it is what it is, you know. It's unfortunate as far as I'm concerned. It's unfortunate, you know. It's but things are easing up, and we're getting the panels from Europe directly, etc., etc. So I suppose until something else happens. Now that is it, guys. That's all of my little excuses. COVID, we had COVID for Christmas in Ireland. Still, you know, lockdown, and so it's hard to get stuff anyway, you know. So everything is postage and extra costs and stuff like that. I think those are all my excuses. Finally, I'd like to just say that I've had to come off the T3 because I haven't had the panels for it, and I have a project on the flip side of this wall at the back of us, and it's a bay, a 79 bay, which you'll see me restore. It's one of my own. I have a collection of stuff, like I said, on the about area on the channel if you read it. So I have a bay over there. It's a 79 bay. I had bought 2 years ago. I had bought all the panels for that restoration, and there's a friend's bus here who he asked me, you know, would I do? It's a light restoration, and that's what I'm going at. I've had to jump over, unfortunately, until I can source, you know, get the panels here in Ireland now for the T25. So I know it's a bit of a long ramble, but I'll always explain stuff. I told you before in my last videos, detail is important to me. If you jump the detail, then you've left people behind, and that's the last thing I'd want to do. This channel is about people who have never, you know, put stuff together. And you'll see that in detail in this video now, this video that I'm going to put up. Hopefully now it'll upload okay for me. I think I'm sorted. I had some updates on the software, etc. And it seems to be holding anyway, because I've laid on some videos at the moment, and it's not crashing or anything. So, you know, hopefully the uploading bit, it wasn't really the uploading that was crashing. It was like when I was putting it all together and editing, that's when I was having an issue. So I think I'm sorted. Okay guys, sorry about that, the battery went flat. So last thing to say is that I've put a montage together of photographs when I got the bus, and I'm going to put those on there now, and I'll just show you the the restoration that's required, the bits that has rotted away and rusted and that needs attention, and then after that I'll be going into the video of it, etc. From there on it's video, but it was just to show you, you know, what it needs doing. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. You know, you could fall off of there. You get hurt. You won't. You could fall off of there. Look at the Jesus state of your hair. Huh? What have you been doing, Ozzy? Huh? It takes a little time to, you know, it doesn't take time to fold it or anything, but, you know, just to get it right and to make it fit right. If you're doing stuff like this, and then when you move on to more trickier stuff like this here, this is a corner for the bulge panel that I've made, and the fitting of this, you know, it has to be rounded, stretched, and the fitting of this, right, is essential. It has to be exactly, you know, within 0.5 mil all the way around, you know, otherwise it slows you up. If the gap is too big, it can cause extra heat, believe it or not, and because you blow through it, you don't have, you know, you need enough meat on both sides, and you need the setting of your weld set to be perfect just to get it to go through. So you have it on the back. Even if you get 80% out the back, that's still okay, you know, that's still a really strong joint. And if accessible, you can always go around the back and you can put a little bit in from the back side. So you have the perfect patch panel and the perfect repair, so that it's almost unnoticeable, or it is unnoticeable really, you know. Doing myself no justice here, but yeah, it's close up of this corner piece was done in the new, so this piece up here and folded over